Hi, I'm Elizabeth,
And I'm Cindy.
and we're here with another Feeding Frenzy for the Four Spiritual Laws of Prosperity by Edwin Gaines, a simple guide to unlimited prosperity.
Unlimited abundance.
Damn, I did it again, didn't I? Unlimited abundance. Well, it's prosperity.
It's close enough.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
She'll forgive me.
We're almost done with the book. You're about to get it.
It depends on how much I studied the night before. We're still on chapter 8. Remember what chapter 8 is?
Commitment.
Commitment.
Yeah. Yeah, I made a big commitment last time.
You did. You want to recap what it was?
I just committed to not go look for a job when I panic. You know? I'm going to make this job work. This is my real job.
This is your real job.
So I'm not going to panic. Well, I'm going to strive not to panic. That's my goal, is not to panic. But with this kind of work, you never know when the money's coming in,
Right.
or if it's coming in,
Right.
or if people are really going to pay you, or if you're going to have to haunt them to get them to pay. You know, you never know how much is coming in, and it gets sort of scary sometimes. But it's still more secure than a real job, because everybody would have to quit paying me to not get any money.
That's right. Even God.
Right. And God is my source.
And God is your source.
So, if I really trust Him, I will get rid of all of Plan B's and C's and D's. And so, I'm making the commitment to really trust God. I really feel, and have for a long time, and as we'll talk about today, about the steps, or the signals. There you go. The three different kinds of signals that we might get. You know, I've asked this question over and over, and my answer has always been to do what I'm doing. So I know I'm on the right track. I just have to trust Him.
You gotta trust, and that's where the faith comes in.
And every time I panic and go look for a real job, then I'm not showing that faith. So I'm making the commitment to stick to this and not go look for another job, which just wastes my time and keeps me from doing this job. So I'm done with that.
Good for you.
Until I panic again.
Well, true, and then you'll have to start all over again, I guess.
Well, you've already had to say once. I don't say that.
Well, it's a practice, just like everything else. It's a practice. I have learned that just like everything else, faith is a practice. Trust is a practice. Neither one is an absolute and it's done.
Right.
It's something I have to constantly remind myself of. I have to constantly remind myself, God is my source. Especially when I'm looking for, a way to do something, a way to pay a bill, or a way to work my way out of a situation. I have to keep reminding myself, it is a practice. And not only are you allowed to screw up, or not only are you allowed to forget, I'm going to forget.
Right.
And I have to be reminded.
So it's like she said, we have to get rid of our Plan B. You know, she talked about going and getting all her money out of the bank. That was her Plan B, and using that for her business. And I've had several Plan Bs over the years. You know, I had credit cards. That was my Plan B. And until I got to the point where I had to quit doing that, then I had to come up with another Plan B, and then I had a 401k. You know, and I'm running out of Plan Bs, and that's where I have to get those. And I think she's right when she says you have to get rid of your Plan Bs. You have to burn those boats and say, I'm here anyway. You know, I'm going to stick with this until I make it work. And I'm going to get rid of the Plan Bs. I'm going to take away my excuses.
Why do you think that is?
Because we want to trust everything but God. And until we get rid of our Plan Bs, we're not fully trusting God.
We don't actually...
It's like, okay,
actively
God,
trust until we don't have somewhere else
okay,
to
God, I'm going to trust you, but when you let me down, I'm going to go to my Plan B.
Exactly.
And we expect God to let us down, or we wouldn't have a Plan B to begin with. So we don't really trust God until the Plan Bs are gone. And so now I'm pretty much, by making this commitment, I'm saying, okay, I'm not going to use that as an excuse anymore. I'm not going to keep that in the back of my head as Plan B. Well, this doesn't work. And that gives me an excuse not to do the things that put me out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, I say, well, I don't have to do that because I can always go to Plan B, which is go get a job. You know.
Yeah.
Now I'm forced to step out of my comfort zone to make this work. You know, which is really not that far.
It's really not. It's really not. We think, because we're looking at it from the safety of the comfort zone, we think it's a huge cavern, a huge leap, you know, across a wide vast. But it's really not. It's really not.
It's really not. And the things I have to do, you know, I just have to get better at communicating and better at selling and better at socializing, which, you know, I like to think I'm an introvert and don't want to get out there, but I can do that. And I'm tired of
introvert. I'm sorry.
but I can do the other, you know.
Well, but you can do that too. And I understand that getting out and socializing is a big cavernous jump for you.
For me.
And I don't think that we are required to make that big leap. We can do it a step at a time, a baby step at a time.
Right.
Yes, it takes a little longer. You know, yes, if we are willing to take a huge leap, then our gains from that, you know, are the same. They are huge, you know.
Right.
But we get benefit even when we make one tiny step towards.
Yes, I agree.
That side of that
steps
comfort
are the
zone,
way
you know?
to get there.
Yeah.
You can't make some of those jumps in one big.
No,
huge
it's
step.
too big.
Right.
We stop and we freeze if we look at it long enough, like Edwin said, you know. We stop and look at that frog long enough, it's too hard to swallow.
Right.
You know? So,
So I think
It's good
it means to take that commitment and get serious about it and say, this is what I'm going to do no matter what. This is what I want. No matter what, this is what I'm going to do. Now, she reminds us in this next step that, you know, just because we make that commitment doesn't mean that's what we're supposed to do.
right.
Or what we're ready for yet.
Yeah.
So even after we've made that commitment, we need to be listening for the signals
We do.
that we get back.
We do. So stepping back just a minute, when you were talking about getting serious about the commitment, to me, I have to get as serious about it as I want God to be,
Yeah.
as I want the universe to be.
Yep.
You know, if I'm truly saying this is really what I want, I've got to put the energy in it.
Right.
If I'm not putting the energy in it, I'm not showing the universe. Here I am. I am serious
Right.
about it.
And we have to do everything we possibly can
Yes.
until we can't do anything else, and then God has to take over, and He will, I believe, at that point. But if we're saying, I want to win the lottery, I want to win the lottery, we're not even buying a ticket, we're not going to win the lottery.
Right.
And we have to do everything within our power to make this happen before it's going to happen. You know, and even buying the ticket doesn't necessarily get us the lottery.
Exactly.
But I think we also have to act as if we've already won.
As if we've already won.
And we have to act as if, you know, if I want a new house, just like when you wanted this house, you had to act as if you already had it, start packing.
Yeah.
You know, I
As
think
if I was
we
gonna
have
move.
to do
Yeah.
everything within our power to get what we want.
Yes.
And I can say I want a successful business all day long, but until I'm doing everything within my power, which includes the sales and marketing, I'm not going to have as successful a business as I really want, you know? So there's a lot of stuff that I've just been halfway doing and playing around with and just thinking, oh, if I just am here, they'll come. And it's just, it doesn't work that way.
And so, in this part of the chapter, Edwin starts talking about getting signals. Or we also call that getting guidance, right?
Right.
And she talks about the first one, getting the go signal. What is that like for you?
Right.
Or have you had a time when you've gotten a go signal?
I have. I've had plenty of them. For me, it's just a knowing, you know, and I think back to the walking on fire. When I would ask, is this mine to do? Can I walk on fire? I just knew I could. I just knew it was mine to do. It was just a knowing for me. I didn't see any great signs in the stars or trees or whatever.
Or like Edwin, did you see a billboard?
I didn't see a billboard. You know, it was just a knowing. Now, I've had miraculous things happen back when, you know, I was questioning whether or not I should start teaching. At that time, it was at church, Bible classes. I was really scared. I'd never successfully stood up in front of a crowd without really screwing it up or being embarrassed or whatever. And I was really torn, feeling like this is what I was supposed to do and didn't want to do, and kept using all kinds of excuses. I don't have the money, and then the money would miraculously show up. And then you know, and then I was using the excuses, well, I can't go to the training classes because I have small kids at home and I can't find a babysitter.
Yeah.
And the class was canceled and they sent it to me on videotape. I mean, you know, I've had several of the
Yeah.
go signals
Yeah.
to even push me sometimes in the right
Mhm.
direction.
Mhm.
Because deep down I wanted to do it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was looking for every excuse not to because parts of it were scary and I didn't feel like I was ready for it. And I did it and I was very successful at it and it all worked out perfectly. And I had a lot of fun doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, those goal signals for me are really clear and really almost push me in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
How about
Yeah,
you?
I've had the same. I can remember one of my, probably the one that made the biggest impact on me at the time was I was 8.5 months pregnant, very pregnant, and working a third shift job that I could not stand. I fall asleep. I had the whole hormone thing going on and fighting against my natural tendencies body-wise. You know, I wanted to sleep at night. It was third shift. I was horribly pregnant. I was uncomfortable. Did not like the job. I really wanted to change. But I was getting ready to go on maternity leave.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I thought, there is no way to make a successful change
Right.
right now. So I started praying. I started talking to God. I really don't want to do this job anymore. It's too hard on me to try and stay at it. I just don't enjoy it. So I can't afford to waste any more time, and I can't afford to I can't afford to lose any more sleep looking for one, especially since I'm fixing to have a brand new baby, so I need you to bring one to me. Well, within a couple of days of having that conversation with God, a friend from that same company says, I'm going to go and test for this job, and I really want you to go with me. I just don't want to go by myself. I was like, I don't want to go take a test. They're not going to just let me sit there. Yeah, you'll have to take it too, but it's okay. You don't have to take it if you don't want it. I didn't even know what the job was for. I literally was going just for this other girl. All right, long story short, I took the test, fell asleep through it, took the test. I ended up getting the job offer. She didn't. At the end of the job interview, I looked at him and I said, I'm obviously not ready to take this job, even if it was offered. I don't want to waste your time, and I don't want to waste mine. If this is not going to go any further, then just let me go now, and I'll let you get on to your next one. And he looked at me and he said, we'd really like for you to join us. Call us when you get off your maternity leave.
Wow.
And that started my job at the post office.
Mm-hmm.
And it blew me away. It absolutely blew me away. And I didn't even know that's actually what I was looking for at the time. But it turned out to be exactly what I needed.
Wow.
Because even when I came off of maternity leave, it turned out to be just 2 days a week.
Wow.
It was enough that I could split, that I had enough time to be at home with the baby, but then I was still bringing home money.
Wow.
And until that child went off to kindergarten, it stayed that way. It was the perfect job.
Wow.
And had I second-guessed it, had I not followed through with it, I would have missed that golden opportunity.
Right. Right. Wow.
And that job served me well for 14 years. You know?
Wow.
So that was a very clear go signal, even though I wasn't looking for the signal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
It's amazing to me how God moves us in certain directions when we're not even really trying. And yet we miss so many opportunities because we say no. Oh, no, I couldn't do that. You know, if you'd have turned her down or you'd done any number of things,
Yeah.
you would have missed that whole opportunity.
I would have missed that whole opportunity if I had said no to going with her to the test, if I had said no to the interview.
But you know what I also know is that God would have brought you some other opportunity.
Some other opportunity.
And that we can't really make a wrong decision.
No.
We just take a different path.
Yeah.
And you would have found another job that worked
Yep.
just as well.
Yep.
It would have just been another path.
Yep.
So that's I just think that's really
But that
cool.
one was a
You can't
real
do
clear
wrong.
way for me to look back and see how it truly worked to get me into a different
Right.
position when I couldn't see how it was possible.
Right.
You know, because I was facing maternity leave and thought, there's just no way somebody's going to hold a position for me. Well, it turned out that's exactly what happened.
Right.
They weren't exactly ready to bring me on yet.
So sometimes I think those goes come as a push.
They
you know?
do. They do.
Really.
And then sometimes, like in my case, it just came as a gentle nudge, you know? A friend, come do this with me.
Yeah.
You know?
That's good stuff.
That was really good stuff.
Oh, sorry. That was good stuff.
That was really good stuff.
Shrink.
Shrink.
I'm gonna not cut any of that out.